Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good morning, guys.
Good, how are you?
Morning.
Good. So today we're going to be talking about our dream jobs. To get the ball rolling, I will go first. So when I was, ever since I could remember, basically, I've always wanted to be an archaeologist. I've always been fascinated with it, and like if I could right now, I would be an archaeologist.
Ooh. What kind of like job title do you see yourself being? Like, did you want to work more in museums or like digging sites, research?
Well, Kate, have you guys watched Bones?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would love to be like a forensic archaeologist or like forensic anthropologist. Like that really fascinated me. Or I would love, like I was super fascinated with like Egyptology as well. So that's like more focused like to ancient Egypt. Yeah, I just think it's so cool. But yeah, I was actually going to go to school for it. And I was going to get my undergrad in bio and chem, but I am horrible at chemistry. So I kind of went into sociology instead.
Okay. I'm here. Have you always wanted to be an archaeologist? You were saying like you've been wanting to, or is it a new job that you've?
No, I've always like literally since I could remember, I like a little wee baby, I've always been fascinated with it. Like I have, if you look on my bookshelf, like a whole row is like dedicated to archaeology books. I have like magazines that I've saved. Like I love archaeology. I just think it's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you're really into archaeology, like what brought you to travel and tourism?
That's kind of a good question. Since like I graduated with sociology, I kind of thought that maybe archaeology, like there are like volunteering programs and stuff like that that you could actually go on. So I thought maybe I could just do that instead of going to school. And then what brought me to travel and tourism was, well, because I really love to travel. So that's kind of, I mean, they're not really correlated at all, but yeah, I just thought this would be a good fit for me as well.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Sorry. One more. What type of question or like customer service, like industry skills do you think you'd need for being
An archaeologist?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. So you definitely need like research skills, and also writing skills, especially if you're going to be doing like lots of research and stuff like that. If you're going to be on a dig, you need a knowledge and interest in history, and then planning and project management skills, and also photography skills, especially if you're going to be on a dig again. You're going to need to be able to take pictures, and the ability to analyze info and artifacts as well.
And weren't you
I just have one more question.
Well?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Right.
Weren't you like really into photography as well?
Yes, yeah. So yeah, I love photography, but that's more of like a recent hobby within the last few years. But yeah.
And I was just gonna ask, like, did you have any experience to be able to go on like a dig or anything like that?
No, not yet. Although, I mean, this is more related to like paleontology, which is similar to archaeology, but with dinosaurs. But when I was at Dinosaur Provincial Park, I actually, so the thing with like group tours is I hate group tours. And so I tend to like go off on my own. So I went and climbed like one of the hoodoos and I looked down and I actually was standing in like a dinosaur footprint. So like, and in Quebec, they were doing like an archaeological dig in Old Quebec while I was there. So like, that's not experience, but like, it's more of like really cool things that excited me.
Wow.
What about you guys?
Say, does anybody have any like travel related dream jobs that they've had now?
Well, when I was younger, and I still want to be, I wanted to be a travel blogger or like travel journalist, run along the lines. Just be able to travel and write about it and show people what I'm seeing.
Do you have a specific platform you'd like to use for that?
I'd probably go with like Instagram platform. It's the one I'm most familiar with. A lot of people are using it.
Yeah, you can build that community quick.
Yeah, and then you can like expand into different platforms after you have like a base one.
Can you elaborate more on what exactly a travel blogger is to you and what makes a good one, and what kind of aspects and attributes you would consider when you possibly become one in the future?
So to me, I think it's like when someone travels to different parts of the world or different countries and like gives feedback on what they did there and like what they liked and things they could improve on, and then also like different activities or excursions they did during their stay. It's different for everyone. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's really hard about like traveling and booking something, especially if you've never done it. So being able to relate with someone and see their experience and see their pictures and videos to know what to expect and all that, I think that
Definitely. And having like being able to like reach out and talk to that person, being like, so what did you like and didn't like? What didn't you like? And being able to like have a conversation with them and discuss it, it's a lot helpful, like more helpful.
So is it almost like being in an influencer role where like you would get money from sponsorships, kind of something like that?
You can. It just depends on like who you're doing the business with. Some companies won't pay you, but they'll like give you a discount on hotel rates for advertising their hotel pretty much.
So how would you be making money through being a travel blogger?
Once you start like getting like higher likes and like views on your posts, then different companies will like contact you and say like, we'll pay you to do this, but we'll also like, not yet, you have to do this first before we can pay you. So it just like, it's like a long pathway to get to the paying aspect of it.
Yeah. And
what are some skills do you think you need? Oh, sorry.
I definitely think you'd need like good communication skills for talking to different businesses and figuring out a plan or like what discounts you could get for them, and also creativity and curiosity. Got to have that to be able to like go out and see different places and be around different people, and then going on different like activities and excursions. You want to be able to have that curiosity and not be scared of taking risks. So those are just some of the important ones.
So do you have like a career like plan in place for how to become a travel blogger, or like do you already have a blog that you're trying to build?
As of right now, I don't have a blog. I'm still learning the ways to do it. I've been researching it, but I need to save up money and start traveling before I can become a blogger.
Yeah.
Has this always been your dream job since you were a kid? Or was there other paths that kind of led you here?
Maybe not always like a travel blogger, but like travel related has always been really interesting to me because I've always loved traveling.
Cool.
Great. Robin, what was your dream job?
My dream job is actually the same as Cassidy. I always wanted to be a travel blogger as well. So I find it interesting.
Is there a lot of similarities you found with her answers that you kind of resonate with, or is there some difference?
Yeah, I would think so as well. Like I would also build on Instagram because I feel like Instagram is kind of one of those social platforms that have kind of stood through time. Like it's kind of a relevant one that's always been there. Like it hasn't popped as much like Facebook has. And so yeah, so I would for sure use Instagram like Cassidy, and yeah.
Are there sorry.
No, it's okay.
Are there any other factors that Cassidy didn't touch on that inspired you to pursue this career as one of your passions?
Yeah, so like her, I also love to travel, but I also love taking photos. And I feel like when you are a blogger, you need to capture those photos. So I just feel like those two kind of collide together. And I also like to write. Like I don't like sit and write in a journal, but I just know that I'm pretty good with my words and I can kind of get content out fairly good. And so I feel
that's
like
a big part of it. So yeah.
Would you ever consider, like, because both you, Cassie and Robin, mentioned Instagram, would you either do like, would you consider doing like a vlog or an actual like blog on a website as well, or just Instagram?
For me personally, I'd probably do like a vlog, like videotape the whole trip or like the important parts of it that I find, and then put music to it and just make it from there. I'm not like the best writer, so I'd focus more on the photography part of it or the videos.
Yeah. Great.
I think for me, I would use all three aspects just to get your knowledge or your vlog photos out there.
Very cool.
To kind of piggyback off of what Cassidy was saying about like vlogs and making little movies, that's actually kind of how I got into this role and how my dream job kind of came to be. I, as a kid, wanted to be a cinematographer or a photographer. And so I would go on these trips and I'd make little movies for them and I would edit them, put them with music, put them out. And it kind of just drew me into the travel part as well and all the things that I could see, and working with tour companies. It opened up that whole door, and that kind of became my dream job, was to hopefully work for a tour company one day. So it's kind of funny how things lead you into other ideas.
It's very cool.
Is
So
there
there-
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Are there any like specific areas / regions that you would want to work in?
So I think Europe is a really big one, and it's super popular for tour groups, especially because there are so many countries to see. They all have their own cultures, their own food. And every time you go back, there's some new experience to try or some new tour to go out with and people to meet. So I think Europe would be a really fun and energetic place to kind of work in, hopefully.
Is there a specific group of travelers or demographic you'd want to work with, or are you kind of open to any type of area right now?
So I think just with my experience with my tours, I would definitely gear towards a younger audience. My mom has definitely done tours with her friends and such, and they sound wonderful, but they're a little bit more slow paced, a bit take it easy. And I definitely like the more adventurous, like on your feet, go, go, go. So I think I would definitely go with a younger, more adventurous audience for sure.
What type of skills do you see yourself needing to like pursue this career?
So you are kind of out with this whole group of people and you're managing them. So I think being able to take care of people, being organized with them, making sure you know where everyone is, booking all of the hotels and buses and making sure you're on time, and definitely being able to kind of keep up with things. There are a lot of problems that can be presented. So being able to stay on top of things is huge.
Just one more question. So you mentioned that you wanted to mainly work in like Europe. Do you know what kind of like prerequisites or like do you need an EU passport or like stuff like that? Do you know what it takes to work in Europe?
So luckily enough, my grandpa was born in Poland, so I am able to get a EU passport if I do need one. I haven't looked into that part, but I do know that at specific companies, it is a really hard process to get into. And their interviews, there's about 5 steps, and you have to like, do training programs afterwards when you do get in. So it is a lengthy process, but I think it's worth it. You do need to be knowledgeable of obviously all the cities and all that fun stuff and laws. So there are a lot of prerequisites, but I think it would be worth it.
Yeah. I know with like Kontiki, you have to write like a 30,000 word paper at the end.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's hopefully the dream one day. I am lucky enough to kind of have a foot in the door with them right now as an ambassador. So we're kind of working with them, and hopefully that will give me a little extra boost to get into that.
Little edge.
Yeah. So Amber, what about you? What's your dream job?
I'm not 100% sure. Like right now, my kind of orientation is that I want to do something with airlines. I've looked into like flight attendant, and I'm just not 100% sure that's for me. And that's based mostly off the hours you'd have to work because it's so erratic. The schedule's really erratic, and knowing myself, I want to be home. I want to be on more of a schedule. So I know there's different paths you can go. Like I've heard of people doing jobs where like they book the flights themselves. There's customer service roles. I don't know all, but that's kind of my general focus.
Okay.
So what kind of like customer service skills do you need for that general area?
definitely like really good communication. I know any airline is going to prioritize you if you've got a second language skill.
Mhm.
And adaptability and flexibility, just because regardless of what position you go into, there's going to be times where you're going to have to be on call. You might have short notice, stuff like that. So you have to be able to adapt to that and the changes that happen. Like we've seen with COVID, there's different procedures going in, and you've got to be prepared to deal with whatever is thrown your way.
Nice.
Yeah. So working with any type of airlines, there's chances of being away from home. Like, how would you cope with being away for who knows, like 1 day, a week? Like, you don't really know.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I feel a dilemma is. I'm kind of a homebody, so I don't know how I cope with that. I'm hoping that as I progress through the program, I'm going to develop like friends, and if I go into that industry, I'll develop friends there that I can learn to connect with while I'm there. And just having social media is really good. That way, you're always in touch with your loved ones and you're in
Mhm.
touch with what's going on back home.
Would you ever consider, like, because you're saying you're a homebody, would you ever consider just working like at the airport with, like, say WestJet or like Air Canada as like one of their people who like check people in and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in something like that, like the gate attendants or whatever they're called.
Yes, yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
interested in doing something like that.
Mhm.
Uh, Mainly, my focus is that going to pay enough though? Because
Mhm.
you don't want to be
Yeah.
stuck at minimum wage forever. So I'm gonna have to explore my options a lot more with that and my options amongst different airlines to see what the best career opportunity would be, especially for terms of growth.
What aspect of joining the airlines attracted you most rather than, for example, maybe a traditional travel agent position? Was there anything that resonated for you from the airlines?
I mean, I always thought airlines were kind of cool. I haven't had much of an ability to travel myself, so I thought that would be something a little foreign and something interesting to go into. I came into the program originally thinking like a travel agent, but the more that we had people speak to us about being a travel agent, uh, the amount that you're paid becomes a huge concern for me
Mhm.
because from what I sound like, it's you're starting at a minimum wage and you're not going to see much growth and it's very commission based and commission is going to fluctuate. Like right now, you wouldn't make much. So my concern would be longevity and pay with something like that. So that's where I started exploring airlines a little more.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So my mom used to work at an airline way back in the day, and one of the most exciting parts for her was the travel perks and getting discounts and being able to bring like your significant other on flights with you and stuff. So is that like a big aspect for you as well, getting the chance to travel and taking advantage of that?
Yeah, definitely. Just because like money's always been a thing, and having like traveling's not cheap. So having those discounts is definitely going to help for me to get out. Like I've never left Canada yet, so that's something I want to do, and I've always really wanted to explore the world. So if I can lower the cost of what would potentially be my hobby, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm exactly in the same boat with Amber on this one. That kind of brings me to my ideal career as well, because it's on the same topic. I am actually looking to possibly be a flight attendant in my future. Me and my family, weren't fortunate enough to be, have a lot to go off of in life. So I haven't gotten the opportunity to travel outside of Canada at all. I've been to British Columbia and Alberta, so not many opportunities. But just the factor of being able to travel and also on the hospitality and service aspect to bring trips to others and experiences to others, but also getting to experience them myself, I thought could be such a really cool experience. So, and learning more about it has really made me more interested in it too. So, I'm really excited about that.
And are you comfortable with the hours, working odd shifts, holidays that work for you?
Yeah, yeah, it would be something really hard. I do sometimes find I get confidence in like independency though. And like it allows me to be more outgoing. So I think being able to take um time for myself like in that aspect would like benefit me in a way. It's hard to explain it, but I think it would really be a cool experience to see how it goes.
Mhm.
Well,
So,
since
and
both
are
of you
you
guys,
comfortable?
That's okay.
oh,
Go,
sorry.
Kathy.
I was just gonna ask, like, are you comfortable being away from home for possibly long periods of time? Like Amber is not, but are you?
I think I could be. It's definitely hard. Like I would definitely miss my family. But I've never been the type of person to get homesick really. I kind of again like find more confidence in like experiencing things for the first time. It would definitely be hard, and I'm sure like once you get enough of it, it would be really like hard to keep going with it. But I think it could be something that I get comfortable with.
Just one more question before we wrap everything up. So you said that you've only been to like BC and Alberta. So what like number one place would you want to travel to first?
Oh, that's so hard.
We all have
That's so hard.
next.
One place I really want to go to, which is such a shot in the dark because I right now I only speak English.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to go to Japan because the culture and the street style is so fascinating to me. And so just be able to like be in that environment and just like see people like doing the simplest things like walking to work. I don't know. It's just that's so exciting to me, like how different the world is, and we are living in like this little bit of it. So Japan is definitely a top seed.
I know Amber said she hadn't left Canada. What was your number one place you want to go to?
It's Japan as well. Like I had a whole trip mapped out for this year. Like I had won a voucher through work, so like I had $5,000 that I could just use towards whatever trip.
Yeah.
So I was going to use that all in 2 weeks in Japan for me and my boyfriend. So I was so disappointed when it was canceled. But yeah, I've always been really fascinated with Japan. I've been really into anime and video games my whole life. So going there and seeing something that's so contrary, and I did take Japanese in high school as well, so I have some knowledge of the language, but it's always just, it's so fascinating, their rich culture, like stuff like geishas in the temples, like it's so foreign to us that it'd just be so cool to see.
That would be captivating for sure.
And I just wanted to ask one general question before we start to wrap it up, just for everybody here. Since most of our jobs that we have here are within the tourism industry, did the current COVID-19 crisis affect anyone's outlook on the tourism industry? Has anyone got any doubts or been more tentative to what they wanted to do?
I definitely haven't. I know things are slow now, but eventually they're going to pick back up and travel is going to be back to where it was, probably more than before.
Yeah.
Even in like the meetings that we've had with like different people from like Fairmont and Pursuit and stuff like that, they're even saying that like because people couldn't travel outside of Canada this summer, like it was still pretty busy for them and stuff like that, even though they weren't at full capacity. So I think, you know, after we graduate, I don't think there's going to be any issue with finding jobs or, you know, people traveling and stuff.
Yeah. A lot of people are taking this opportunity to be tourists in their own country.
Yeah.
Still a supply and demand for travel. It's just a little bit more limited on where it is now, but I have no concerns about it opening back up.
Yeah.
And everybody's itching to travel.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So once everything opens back up,
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So we're going to wrap it up. Thank you all for sharing your dream jobs. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good day.
Learned a lot.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.